Have you ever wondered whether the language you speak does more than help you communicate? What if it actually changes the way your brain works? It's a fascinating question, and one that psychologists, neuroscientists, and linguists have been studying for decades. For a long time, people believed that language was simply a tool for expressing thoughts that already existed. But modern research suggests the relationship goes both ways. Your thoughts shape your language, and your language can also shape your thoughts. This idea is known as linguistic relativity. It doesn't mean that your language limits what you're capable of thinking. Instead, it suggests that language influences which details your brain notices most easily and how information is organized in your mind. Take colors, for example. English speakers use one basic word for blue, while some languages split blue into two distinct categories. Researchers have found that speakers of those languages can identify certain shades more quickly than English speakers. Their eyes aren't more powerful. Instead, their brains have become better at separating colors into meaningful categories because their language requires it. The visual information is processed in the visual cortex, but identifying and labeling those colors also involves language regions in the left hemisphere, such as Broca's area and Wernicke's area. These regions interact with visual processing, helping the brain classify what it sees more efficiently. Time is another surprising example. Most English speakers imagine time flowing from left to right because that's the direction they read and write. Speakers of languages written from right to left often picture time moving in the opposite direction. Some indigenous Australian communities don't organize time around writing at all. Instead, they think of events in relation to the cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. The events themselves don't change. The mental representation does. Your brain constantly builds spatial maps of abstract ideas, and language quietly influences how those maps are arranged. Language can even change the way people navigate through the world. Most of us rely on words like left and right. But in some cultures, people almost always use compass directions instead. Imagine asking where your phone is and hearing, "It's on the north side of the table." To speak like this, you need to know your orientation almost all the time. Researchers have found that speakers of these languages often possess an extraordinary sense of direction because their brains continuously track their position in space. Brain regions involved in spatial navigation, particularly the hippocampus, become heavily engaged during everyday conversation. For many English speakers, navigation is something we think about only when we're lost. For them, it's part of ordinary speech. Language also affects memory. Imagine watching someone accidentally drop a glass. One person says, "The glass broke." Another says, "She broke the glass." Although both descriptions refer to the same event, they direct attention differently. Experiments have shown that people are often more likely to remember who caused an accident when their language naturally emphasizes the person responsible. Memory isn't like replaying a video recording. Every time the brain stores an experience, it decides which details deserve the most attention. Language helps guide that decision. Perhaps the most fascinating discoveries come from brain imaging. Using functional MRI scans, scientists have observed that language is not processed in one single location. Instead, it relies on a network of regions working together. The frontal lobe helps organize speech and reasoning. The temporal lobe helps process meaning and vocabulary. The hippocampus links language with memory. Meanwhile, areas responsible for attention decide which information should be prioritized. Every conversation activates millions of neurons, communicating through electrical and chemical signals. As these neural pathways are used repeatedly, they become stronger through a process known as neuroplasticity. That's one reason learning another language becomes easier over time. Your brain is physically strengthening the networks involved. This also helps explain why bilingual people often outperform monolingual speakers on certain tasks involving attention and cognitive flexibility. Frequently switching between languages exercises the brain's executive control system, particularly regions within the prefrontal cortex. These networks help you ignore distractions, switch between tasks, and adapt to changing situations. Speaking 2 languages isn't just memorizing twice as many words, it's regular mental training. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more content exploring psychology and language. See ya!